Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, breadwinners, thread spinners, and all those in between, you are now watching the TNF podcast with your favorite bipolar rock and roller, Mr. J. Curtis Strickland. I just wanted to announce some of the upcoming shows that we've got since the suck-ass 49ers lost the Super Bowl. We took a little break on Sunday. On the 18th of February, we've got Sundarananda Das from Mudfoot, No Resistance, and the Palookas. That's going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. Joe Mustin and Johnny Smurdell from Advent and Beloved. That's going to be on February 25th, also a Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. And then we've got Damian Moyal as Friends Rust, Morning Again. That's going to be March 3rd at 5 p.m. And Jeff Jenkins from Code 7 on the 10th of March at 7 p.m. So my guest today is a very, very funny stand-up comedian. I've checked out some of his material, and it's fantastic. He's been performing for 5 years in the Los Angeles area. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ryan Joseph. What is going on, my man?
Hello, my friend. Strickland, do people ever call you by your last name?
They do sometimes, yeah.
I had a
It's
friend. I had a friend named Strickland. It was his last name, James Strickland.
What was his
Um,
name?
is your name James?
No.
Oh, Jay Curtis. Yeah,
Yeah.
his name was James Strickland. It was in Gainesville, Florida, and
Okay.
yeah, he was just some dude that wasn't really anything to him, but he was cool at the same time.
Okay.
Like something about him, you're just like Strickland. Because his name was Strickland. You're cool
I
no
always
matter
get the
what.
principal from Back to the Future
Yeah.
or
Was
Strickland
it
Propane.
was it Strickland? That was his last name?
Yeah. When he's in at the high school in the dystopian future and they say, "Hey, Strickland," and then they run past and shoot at him and shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Strickland.
yeah. I was just thinking about movies actually. Um, and so I forgot about that one. There's so many things like people, well, not me anymore, but it used to be before I started writing jokes. People would be like, tell me a joke, and I would know one that I heard, but I could never think of one. Now I have a lot, but like, yeah, it's like that with movies. It's something that's weird when they put you on a spot, you know. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
I hear you, man. So let's talk about your stand-up career a little bit. You grew up on the East Coast.
Yeah, I did. I grew up in Florida. Can't you tell? And I'm actually staying in my old bedroom that my dad turned into like a storage room because like my dad, he's my stepmom's sick or she's been having some problems. My dad needed help, and I had some like a living situation that went down, and I had nothing to do, and I was getting tired of Austin, and I said I'd come here, and I just started doing the Florida clubs. And but yeah, I grew up in here in Miami with all the G's. That's where I got my flow and my rhythm, because I grew up making love to like Cuban girls and
Oh yeah.
Venezuelans like when I was like 4.
Nice.
But it's not molestation if they're Venezuelan for some reason. Like that's what my dad said. Because if you're 4 and she's 27, it's just their culture and we're just participating in it and learning. So that's my balls dropped really early on, and and the gangsters like that. And then um, my mom, she was a crazy hoe. She lived up in Jacksonville, and I would go up there whenever my dad and my stepmom hated me, and then she would hate me, and then I go back down here, back and forth, and then I went to college. I figured that they heard that they would give you student loans, and I was like, you guys don't really want it back, but I'm a slave now, to the government. I basically know what it was like to be a slave back in like the 18th century. Because I owe student loans, and it's basically the same feeling. I can like empathize with what they went through. Like having to like pick cotton all the time and like get whipped and stuff. And I have like these envelopes that come in the mail that like, and I know they'll just keep coming. And they're heavy. They're heavy too. I mean, how heavy is cotton? You know, Why can't I complain about how heavy my fucking envelope is? Anyways, yeah, and then I went to I went to school in Gainesville where I was born. You know, I was born up there. Like my mom was a hoe, and my dad took her up there to give birth to me for some reason. And and then he brought me down here. And then I went to Tallahassee. Actually, I have a college degree. I went to Tallahassee. I did a lot of drugs and hung out with strippers because my sister was one. And then, but during the day, I studied literature and philosophy, and then hung out with strippers and my sister, and
Dichotomy right there.
yeah, that's basically my background before comedy.
There you go. There you go. I mean, I like it, man. I've got a pretty interesting background myself. Now, what kind of motivated you to get into comedy? What is your first moment where you watched a stand up comedian and were like, I want to do that?
Never, never.
You just kind of
No.
fell into it.
Yeah, it just happened. I never even thought I would be doing this shit. Like every day, I ask myself, why am I doing this? Yeah, I liked acting when I was a kid. I loved acting, and I stopped when I was 13. I discovered weed and guitar, and then all of a sudden I got really self-conscious. You know, 'cause I smoked weed, and I was like, oh my god, don't look at me or whatever. And but it sounded like, oh my god, but so I just started playing guitar and singing, even though I can't sing. But I was like, didn't matter if I can't sing, because I feel it. I feel it. Who cares if you can't sing? That's singing in a way,
Right.
And I had this dream of being a musician, and then I got sober because I became a drug addict at one point, and but when I got sober, I remembered acting, and I got into acting, and then I moved out to LA, and it was really, really gay, just going to fucking acting auditions at 30 guys that look the same, and you get no after no after no, and then you're paying some like burnt out series regular from what is that vampire movie or TV show that was on HBO? True Blood.
Yeah,
I mean, I shouldn't say he's burnt out. He wasn't burnt out. He was cool. He could watch this. Anyways, no, he was cool, but it sounded funnier saying burnt out. But paying people, that's how they're making money. These actors they're broke, so they're just taking advantage of all these dreamers coming to LA, and they're just saying, crazy shit like, you don't even need to be talented, as long as you're nice, That's good news, everybody. You don't have to be talented, and a lot of comics think that too, most of them. But I just got sick of it, and I had tried stand-up off of a whim. I was just sitting in my bed one day, and I was like, I'm gonna try stand-up comedy. It was when I lived in Seattle for a bit, and that's where I got sober. I had to go up there to get sober, and I did it. And I remember I was scared shitless, and I think I got like a chuckle. And some comics, they'll call that killing. I know some very well that think that they killed when they get a chuckle. But yeah, anyways, what was I saying? Basically, I was acting, and then I tried improv like at Groundlings in LA, and that was just really gay because like they'd be in a circle and they'd be like, hi, my name is Ryan, and R starts for Ryan, and R starts for what? And they throw like a hacky sack at you, and and I was like, I had to do something, because I've always been like a performer. When I was a kid, I'd always dress up like fucking Indiana Jones or doing performances with my cousin, and then acting. And I had to do something that's weird because I was like, well, I'm going to do stand-up. And it turned out I was like a genius, like I'm a comic genius, and it doesn't even mean anything to me. I watch all these guys trying, they're like, it takes 10 years before you can be funny, Okay, for you, motherfucker.
You beat them.
You
beat them all.
Well, I mean, a lot of that I attribute to nootropics, and a lot of comics nowadays, we don't really subscribe to the same rules as the older comics because they didn't have Netflix. They couldn't tap in like the Matrix and say, I just learned Kung Fu, or like, because we could watch 20 comics in one night on Netflix and learn shit. They had to wait, by the wagon for a comic to come into town, and they all would study, and they hardly got stage time. And that's why it took them so long to just be funny. But they're all losers. They'll be gone soon.
Gone. So, who probably influenced you the most, like growing up, or well, I mean, as far as once you got into comedy, who do you think you felt like you had the most connection with, like Rodney Dangerfield or Stephen Wright?
Yeah. Yeah. I really didn't know what I was doing when I started, to be honest. Like, I just thought that you go up there and you talk and people will think it's funny because I thought I was funny, and it didn't work out like that. I watch old sets and I cringe, and I would just talk and talk and talk. A lot of comics, I watch them and they do that where they think that people care about their lives, but no one does really. They want to hear a joke. And I figured that out when I saw Jeselnik, and then I remembered one-liners, and so I started watching Rodney Dangerfield because I always thought he was really funny. His like simple jokes of like, told the cab driver, take me to where the action is. He took me to my house. There's something really beautiful about that. And like, yes, Stephen
Yeah.
Wright and Mitch Hedberg. A lot of people compare me to Mitch Hedberg, which I have no fucking idea why. Like,
You,
I
you
mean,
you seem to have more of a Stephen Wright delivery to me, honestly.
yeah, Mitch Hedberg, like he was just like this and it, where he was just
Yeah.
like, and his jokes were really abstract.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it became brilliant at some points, but it was, like he's just different comic. But because people don't know about one-liners, like I'm a classical comic, you know. What I fell in love with, because I was always a writer too. Since I was in eighth grade, I had like published poetry and stuff like that. And when I got my literature degree, they make you write constantly when you're an English major, constantly. And then I got a graduate degree, you know, and after I got sober, I had nothing to do, so I got that. But so I was used to writing, and I liked writing, and there's something I would get off on, like writing the perfect. Because think about it, what is a joke? It's like one sentence that means two things, and you don't know what it means until the last word, maybe last two words. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it's very hard lots of times, not always. Sometimes it's easy. Most of the time it's difficult. It's very hard to get that sync of two sentences and to totally, flip it on the audience with just one word can shatter everything and make them like realize what the fuck. It's a fucking rush when you get it down and you get like a new
Yeah.
joke.
Dude, you're really adept at it, man. I was like, you came recommended to me by Joe Bando, who's been on this show. And yeah, I was like, man, this guy is just crushing it. Like he just really, I love the whole deadpan delivery of it all, and like how it's just like, yeah, just like hits you, just really just kind of hits you, and it's just back and forth and back and forth. I think that's why Dangerfield was like so adept too, because he's just like, boom, just keep going, boom, just keep going. And it's like, some of the real masterful comedians can tell, um, really intricate stories and whatnot. But I think there's also a talent in just being able to, yeah, just hit them with one line. And you're doing fantastic at it, man. I love it.
It's weird, like I this is, one thing, like with comedy, nothing was premeditated. Like I'd never never dreamed I'd be doing this. I was always a cut up, but like I never thought that I would be a stand-up comic. And and I never thought that I would be good at it, or good. Like I'm lucky because I found the one thing that I'm good at. I'd like to be good at music. I wish I could be good at music. I have a passion for music, but you kind of have to like be real with yourself at some point and be like, I might have a passion for it. Doesn't mean I'm good at it. Just because I have a passion, you know. And in comedy, I'm good at it. Sometimes I don't have a passion for it, you know. Usually that's my better sets when I'm like, oh, Cody Knotts is here.
Cody Knotts is here. Yeah, he says you're the
He's
greatest.
yeah, do you know Cody?
I don't, but
He
I
is
think
the
you're pretty
greatest.
fucking funny, man. So yeah,
Okay,
what's up,
thanks.
Cody?
Yeah, he's a director. He
Okay.
made like some crazy ass um triple X film with some state representatives and got in trouble and shit. And
Oh
he's
shit.
uh he's out in the woods in New York. I did a movie with him when I was like 10.
Okay. It wasn't one of those kind of movies, was it?
What do you mean? No, it was a child porn. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
don't
I,
get me flagged here,
I'm
please.
kidding you too. I didn't say
Okay.
anything. I said child.
Okay. Um, wow, that's fantastic. Well, uh, so okay, so when did you start like doing comedy specifically? Was that kind of were you one of those like lockdown comedians? Because I know like Bando started doing it when he was he ran Therapeutic Noise in Long Beach, and then he you know decided to kind of keep going at it, and he's really going strong. Was that something that you had kind of honed your skills on during the lockdown?
Yeah, well, I remember Bando. Like Bando, I remember like him and I think around started around the same time because we used to go to open mics. And Joe Bando is a very interesting character because I always liked him because he was just really against the grain, especially in LA. Um, Sometimes a little bit too much. We got banned from one open mic at the same time, and he just took it to another. I was like, dude, like, cause like it was like some place called Bert's Back Room, and it was like a yoga studio full of chicks that would go there when they had their period and they wanted to talk about it and they thought it was funny. And I went there and I said a joke, and it wasn't even the best joke, but it was like, I don't write rape jokes. There's nothing funny about a woman wearing the wrong dress. And when I'm walking out, I guess Bando went into the bathroom and I'm walking out, and the chick comes up to me. She's like, Ryan, I was just hoping we could talk for a second. She put her hands together. I was hoping we could talk. I just think you should write. I think you should take some time and not come around here, and because this is kind of like a safe space, safe space, and maybe you should work on your writing. You need to learn how to write better. And then Bando comes out like a bulldog, being like, "Oh, you fucking," it like took it to another level, and then we were like, we became legends because that was everyone was jealous. They wanted to be banned from there too. But anyways, this guy Joe Bando, he started Therapeutic Noise, and like it was like an IRS building. It had like those foam ceiling panels and stuff. It was quite ridiculous. I was like, dude, put something on the wall. But it was a room, and he would put on shows there. And when the pandemic happened, he refused to close, right? And and I was all for it. I was scared for a week, and then I was like, I'm bored, and I couldn't stand not doing comedy. So I would go down there, Long Beach, and I would do shows there. And Bando, like, he would just leave the door open and blare heavy metal just to like rub it in everyone's face that were like indoors congregating. And I remember this one comic. I don't even think he does comedy anymore. He said he was so funny too. He was like, I because everyone's talking shit about COVID, and he's like, I actually believe it's all real what they're saying, but people are gonna have to die for me to do this. It's like people are gonna have to die. Everything they're saying is
Yeah.
true. But anyways, we started doing that, and Bando was banned from Facebook. So I said I would post the notices on LA Comedy Group or Scene or whatever, and I started getting associated as the one that's producing these illegal shows as well. And they were coming, all these comics that were jerking off, headlining on Zoom, started like coming after me, Bando. They'd blow up his like registration website and like bomb threats, call the cops. I'm sure he talked about this shit, right?
He didn't say anything about bomb threats, but I know that he caught
Yeah,
a
he
lot
would
of
say,
flack from.
Yeah, because one person would write a literal bomb, is coming, because you write down your name, and that's a bomb threat. And
Oh,
they would throw the
you mean a bomb threat, like bombing, like comedy wise, or like
but
actual bombs?
they said a literal bomb. They said ALITER. That's how they spelled it. A literal bomb is coming. And yeah, so they were crying about that, and they're such pussies. All of those comics in LA, like, and then there was one guy that had an open mic, and he messaged a few comics that he trusted, and we would do it indoors, just the same 12, 15 people maybe every night during the pandemic, indoors, and we would just perform for each other. And I had to write new jokes all the time because I didn't want to write the same shit. And the thing about open mics, I like performing for comics because if you can make one of those sad, selfish souls laugh, the joke's gonna kill in a big audience. If the joke can get through this dude that's sitting there just thinking about his jokes, waiting to get on, hates you, and doesn't laugh at anything anymore because his soul is slowly eroded with every time he's been on stage, and the joke gets through that and makes him laugh, then I knew it would work. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And like it seems like, I've been told by a lot of stand-up comedians that you also have to think that the joke is funny. Like if you don't think that the joke is going to land, it probably won't land.
yeah, yeah, but that's not the only criteria because
Okay.
sometimes you think it's funny and it's not, and midway through saying it, you're like, this is not going to be funny. As soon as you say it, you're like, this is going to be so funny, I'm going to do this, and then you're saying it and you're like, no, God, but you have to finish it. you know it's like when if you're drunk and you take home like a um what is that, what Ryan actually
What
did
Ryan
during
actually did
COVID?
during COVID.
What is that?
I don't know. It won't let me click it, but
Cody, was that the movie? Oh, he's probably talking about the movie we did. I did a movie called Transubstantiation. It's not about trans people.
okay.
I feel like I'm talking way too much, dude. But yeah, it was a
No.
movie that I did for Cody, with Cody, and it was very horrible experience because we were in a basement for fucking like forever, and I was in a romantic uh, 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 tragedy in my own private life, and
Okay.
I hated everything, and I played a vampire that kidnapped a priest and made it, and was convinced that if I got him to turn the wine into Jesus Christ's blood, which is called transubstantiation, then I would become a human again. And so that was the thing. And I got rave reviews. Everyone said you should be an actor forever, and I was like, that was just a one-time thing.
That sounds awesome, man. One of the things that we were talking about backstage was, you know, today is Valentine's Day. I don't have a Valentine right now. Don't really care, and I know that you had kind of wanted to talk about, your experiences with Valentine's Day and with relationships.
Well, yeah, I got dumped on Valentine's today. Yeah. Have you ever had a girl tell you they're in love with you and then later on in the day tell you they hate you and dump you?
Not within that scope, no. It's usually
Yeah,
kind of a drawn out thing, like, it would probably be weeks or months, but not within the
yeah,
same day, no.
yeah. Yeah, I got dumped on Valentine's. Isn't that crazy? It's
That's
almost funny if it didn't hurt, but it really doesn't hurt when I think about it because like it was just an illusion. That whole relationship was like an illusion, which I just realized by some new information that came to me. I was like I built the whole thing up in my fucking head. It still hurts, but it's like I don't even
yeah,
want to talk to that person anymore,
right.
like because she's not even what I thought she was. Um and that's strange that your mind can be that powerful that you can superimpose what you want onto someone, and like that's I guess if you go to jail, that's a good thing that your mind can do that, you know. But like maybe those guys really think that they're having sex with women. But yeah, man, I got dumped on Valentine's. Who does that to someone, right?
Somebody spiteful and
You know?
vindictive. Somebody with some sort of cognitive disorder, surely.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to take anyone's inventory, and I'm sure she had her reasons. You know, it's hard to be around me and my brilliance, and it, it's hard. You know, like she would look at me all the time and just want to have sex, and I would just be like, listen, I'm not just that. You know, and yeah, that's I'm trying to be funny, but no, yeah,
I
it's
had to
been a
ask if
shitty
you were
day.
doing a bit because I know comedians can be like, they're like, okay, here's a new chance for me to do a new joke, but like,
Yeah, you'll start talking and then you'll see like a setup and you just try to hit the punch and it doesn't work a lot of times. But yeah, I don't even, no one really knows who she is and or anything like that, and don't want to talk shit about anyone. Um, Sometimes people just don't want to be with you anymore for their own reason. Probably another guy usually is. Um, I don't know.
that's like salt
But
in the wound, man. Like, she could have waited a couple
she
days or
was,
so.
dude. I don't put anything past people, certain people, and like I would never mention their name or anything, but like I've in the past I've dated a few women, and some of them are more. I've never met some people. Some of the ones I've met like this before, like some of the ones that I met, like I'm scared to death of saying anything about any of them because they're so like they'll just go crazy and shit, and start
Right.
like spreading lies and stuff. So I don't. They're great people, all of them. They're just perfect, And I'm the bad guy, Like I would do horrible things, like say, "Hey, babe, I miss you. Why don't you come down here sooner than you were supposed to?" That's horrible that I said that. It's putting pressure on her, That is making her feel like she's controlled. Why would I ever do that? Or, hey, why didn't you send me a text while you were at a bar all night just to say, hey, I'm okay? That's fucked up that I would think that. Why would I do that? It's like I'm trying to control her or something. It's basically like I'm putting chains on her.
Yeah, man. Like,
Who's
that's
abused?
next level
Who's
jealousy,
abused?
man.
Like,
Yeah.
well, sometimes I sent more than like a few texts during the day. You know, she should be in a fucking battered wives shelter. You know, think about it.
Well,
Text
so true.
messages, dude.
Oh,
How do
I
you
know. It's
deal with that
horrible.
coming
Yeah.
at you? It's like it would rock her nervous system. She got text messages.
Yeah, that's the worst.
That's on me. That's on me, and I'm taking responsibility for my actions.
Oh man, yeah. They usually say like you're being needy or something like that, when it's like you're genuinely concerned for their welfare.
Yeah, you're trying to control me. It's like, well, you're at a bar that I've never even heard of, and I haven't talked to you in like 3 hours before you went, and the whole night you're there. I don't hear from you when usually you're always texting me.
Right.
So why wouldn't I get pissed off and like be? No, I'm kidding. Why wouldn't I just say, hey, why didn't you text me? It's like kind of rude to do that and like make someone worry and stuff. And then all of a sudden it's the end of the relationship now. Like
Right.
have you ever dated someone where that their solution was um to break up if the wind blew the wrong way?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. No, I mean it's like
Maybe it's a woman thing. This is a relatively new person that I started dating. And
okay.
yeah, no one knows who she is. She's from other part of the country, like in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest. And who I spent some time with, and it's you got this is what I'll tell all the fellas on Valentine's Day. Don't jump into anything until you get to know them. Like when they say, "Hey, um, why would you ever go on dating apps? That's weird," and then you find one in their phone. That's a bad sign. Okay, don't do that. Or if you find a book about being a whore, like polyamorous, there's a book called The Ethical Slut, right? That's the name. Don't tell yourself that it's not
Right.
hers. It's in her house. I
Right.
told myself it wasn't. It's not like she read it, you know. Like,
Right.
just wait a little bit, before you dive in. I know that the winking eye of God can suck you in, but to all those young men out there, just wait, find out who she is, because she is a person. Eventually, it's weird because like all of a sudden after 3 months, you're like, you have like thoughts, and why are you talking to me? You're like a person, and it's not the person you want to know. But by then, you're fucking emotionally addicted, and your whole life is going down the drain, and everything you do is being blown up into this crazy narrative, because women are designed to destroy you. They're designed to destroy what they love about you, right? They see something they like, so they are attracted to you, and they will destroy it and then say you're a loser for not having that, and then they'll walk away, right? So the
Yeah.
answer is be gay. Or I don't know, I wish I was, but no, the answer is what does the Bible say?
There you go.
What does it
There
say?
you go.
What
What
does the
does the
Bible say
Bible
about
say
Satan?
about what?
What does it first say about the first woman?
She
She's a lying
ate
hoe.
the she ate the
Don't trust
apple and
women. Yeah. The whole Bible was written by one dude who got fucked over by some chick who like ate from his apple tree, and he wrote this book. But he was brilliant because he was like, I'm gonna make it from like, I'm gonna say it's written by 70 guys. It was like, art, I don't know, avant-garde. He was ahead of his time, and
yeah, definitely.
and a lot of great art is inspired from wanting to say fuck you to a woman who fucks you over. Look at Nevermind, Kurt Cobain. That whole album was just some chick who fucked him over, you know? And
Didn't
they're
know
so
that actually.
stupid. Women nowadays, they are so afraid of being controlled, right? They're so
Right.
afraid of losing their independence and, being a bad bitch. And they wind up 50 years old alone and wondering why they can't find a good man. And then they use that energy to poison another younger woman to make her boyfriend's life hell. And
Totally.
then it just avalanche, and they're
Yeah.
miserable people because they hate men because they think that they should be a man or something, like, instead of being happy that you're a woman. It's like they
It's a
hate
lot of
women
those
more.
yeah, in the fact that they don't end up being in some sort of relationship, they end up adapting a lot of qualities of like they have to take on these masculine qualities of like being the provider and like being the being the breadwinner and things like that because in traditional type situations they don't have that.
Yeah. Wait, you're saying they have to do that?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're kind of forced to out of necessity, and they're a lot of them are very salty that things didn't work out for them, and so they take up other measures in order to try to make other people's lives miserable and be like, you don't need no man, you don't need a man, or something like that. It's like,
Yeah. They're idiots, dude. They didn't have to work. They just chilled with the vacuum cleaner and Valium and little toddlers. And those women fucked it up for all the other women. You know, first mistake was letting them vote, right? What happened? What happened when we let them vote? Women are emotional. They're beautiful. I love women. I grew up with sisters and a mom. I love women, but they operate from emotion, right? The rational thinking isn't there usually. Like, so having them pick who's going to run the country. What happened? It was in the 20s or something. I think it was like, yeah, everything was great. It was in the roaring 20s, and then the crash of fucking Wall Street, then World War II and the Holocaust, then Korean War, then Vietnam, fucking whatever, fucking the whole Nixon Watergate shit, fucking 9/11. That's on women being able to vote. You don't see the tie. You don't see that.
I have made that correlation at one point, but
think about, why did those guys fly those planes into that tower? They wanted to meet a nice,
because they wanted
a girl.
20 redheaded virgins.
They wanted a girl that wasn't a whore for once, right? And I get it, you know. They were a little greedy, wanting 54 or 72 or whatever. But that's how bad it is. We all felt like doing that, you know. They're crazy though to do that.
Yeah,
but they just wanted to meet a nice girl.
Yeah, I mean, in paradise or whatever they call it, Muslim heaven or but so let's talk a little bit about. I know this is, I know terrible situation to not to be broken up with Valentine's Day, but so you assist on somebody else's podcast, correct?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I probably
shouldn't talk about that.
No, I probably shouldn't say who it is,
okay.
But I help somebody who's kind of like a mentor to me.
Okay.
And I don't think he was. I showed him that thing that you made.
Yeah.
And I think he didn't like it because it was.
Oh no!
I didn't realize he was. I didn't realize that what the picture actually was. But we shouldn't say anything more about it. Yeah. Yeah. I protect.
It was an homage. It was an homage, though.
I know, and I get it. But yeah, he's hilarious. So he's funny. But yeah, I do help on a podcast. Mainly, I help just getting sponsors and stuff. Do you have sponsors for your podcast?
I don't actually. No, I'm afraid. I'm actually afraid of them because I'm afraid that if I get sponsors, I may end up shilling for something that I don't particularly care to shill for, or But it could be a good endorsement. Could be a good sponsorship.
Well, you go after the ones you want. Like I had a Blue Chew. I got free dick pills all the time. So the girl I was dating could think that I actually wanted her, and then no, I'm kidding. Like, I actually would sell them to another comic, an older comic. And then Manscaped, which is the shit because it's like porcelain razors that just cradle your balls. And speaking of cradling balls, like sheath underwear, it's like a kangaroo pouch to carry your balls around. Have you tried that? There's like a little hole, like an owl's hole, and you put your dick in, and then your balls are just held by like a girl's hand all day as you walk around. Like that's what I'm into, and I found
there you go.
You can find what you're into too.
So you got those endorsements then, yeah?
Yeah, you just reach out to them and butter them up, and that's how you make money with a pod. People, that's what I learned in recovery, was you can really do anything if you want to do the action. It's the action. Like right now, I have a broken heart, and I probably can get over it if I take the right actions. The only problem is when you have a broken heart, you don't feel like it, right? And but that's the way it is, Mm-hmm. I guess I'm a bad person, apparently.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it happens, I suppose.
Are you on a girlfriend?
I don't right now. No. I'm not presently looking.
Who's the last one?
The last one, God, probably like 4 years ago. I mean, it was, never had anything like super serious. It was always like, strippers and hoes and shit like that, So, trying to course correct a little bit, but I don't. And one of those things is too, you got to kind of, like you said, you got to kind of like, work on your creative endeavors and things like that, and all that other shit falls into place eventually. It's not.
Dude, it's semen, man. They steal our juju. Like our semen is where all the jokes come from.
It's the chi,
People
man.
don't
It's
know that.
definitely the chi. That's
But
that's why I like boxers
dude,
and shit.
the
Yeah.
first jokes I wrote, like I would never, dude. I swear. During the pandemic, I just stopped. Like I had to jerk off, but like, I would do that for like weeks and weeks before I jerked off and like write jokes and stuff. You know, it was like the cum was like spilling all over the paper. You know, these beautiful jokes that transmitted through, you know, electromagnetic waves of semen
There you
to the
go.
audience, and they laughed, and they didn't even know they were laughing because of my cum. You know, like that's how what it does.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I'm kind of out of my mind right now because I'm so like grief stricken, you know, and it's been over and over and
I couldn't
over.
tell, man, honestly. Like you seem to be handling it pretty well.
Do I? Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe I am, and maybe it's not a big deal, and I'll just find another chick. That's probably what they're
I
doing,
mean, that's
anyways,
what you
right?
gotta do, man. Like,
Yeah.
I've done the same thing where it's like, you just gotta keep it pushing, you know?
But then they'll get mad at you. They'll come back and they'll be like, "Why did you go and be with another woman? I just told you to be single. Why are you doing what I don't want you to do while I run around and be?" There, you can't fix. I've had a few serious relationships, and those were the um. It's so hard. It's so hard because it's like people fuck up. Like I fuck up a lot, and it's not like I mean to. It's not like I want to hurt anybody, you know. And some people can be very unforgiving and take it personal and think that you should hold you to a certain standard and not basically not look at where their part. You have to look at your own part, you know.
Sure.
Some people, a lot of women, want to just look at you and what you did, and it's very rare to find a woman who can like self-reflect and be like, I was wrong about doing that, so I could see how you felt that way. When's the last time you ever heard a chick say that? You know,
Never.
I've heard
Fucking never.
there's a couple I've found that did that, but um I wasn't dating them or anything. But there are some women out there that are not completely insane. I think it's the estrogen.
Could be. Could be.
I think it drives them fucking insane, dude. It's not even their fault.
Maybe.
It's not their
Don't know,
fault.
man.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of your stand-up engagements, like as far as like, when you first went out there and you were you know, first getting your feet wet in kind of the scene. Um, how was the response? Was it good? Was it not so good? Did you have like a good
Um,
I mean, I know you said you were like always amazing and like
I was joking.
you've got a I know. You've got
Honestly,
this greatness and stuff. So
no,
but
it's yeah. It was for a while I was doing that, just talking shit, and um but then once I started looking at the one-liners and getting really into that, interested, I basically realized what a joke is. I started like doing really well, you know, and I realized that that was the best way to do it because when you're starting out, you only get 5 minutes usually, and to really crush consistently, you want short little jokes are perfect, dude. I used to do Kill Tony during the pandemic when I was bored,
oh yeah, I've seen
and
Kill Tony.
yeah, and I would land like 8 jokes in 1 minute, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, I would go, you know, it's just like slaughter that minute because I was a one-liner, so it was easier for me, you know. A lot of comics aren't, and so they'll take the whole minute to get to the one laugh, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so basically that worked for me because I would get, you know, as a new comic, I would get shorter sets,
Mm.
and but I was crushing them because I had these short, fat jokes, and people didn't know me. They don't know me, and they don't want to hear about how crazy my life is. They want to
Mm.
hear a joke, and they'll give you maybe 5 seconds of their attention before they write you off. So if you can give them a joke right away, just a fucking crusher, they're 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 so grateful, you know, because so
Yeah.
many comics don't really think that this is like this is you need to learn to write, you know. This isn't, you know, or find someone to write for you, whatever, if you have to if you're a performer. But to
Right.
go up there with half-assed jokes and not thinking them through, and because it's painful to write and you don't want to sit down and go over it again and go over it again and look at what word is out of place and out of rhythm, because it's like a song, you know, the vowels and the syllables, they have to have fit into this one flow, and you can feel it when it's crooked and out of it's like has to be spoken right, you know. And yeah, but so I started doing well once I did that, once I started writing jokes. And I I realized I was in LA learning how to do comedy at the Comedy Store, you know, like big comics next to you, like Joe Rogan. And the thought crossed my mind. I was like, I already made it because there's so many comics out there that would kill to be here. This is making it, you know. And once I thought that, like things started working out more. Like I won the U.S. comedy contest, and I got like an agent and a lot of stuff. And then the world ended. but but then still, like, I got better during the pandemic, and I went to Austin. I met Rogan, and I uh got on Skankfest, and like just doors started opening up. You know, I made a lot of mistakes because I was too new to be around people like Rogan, and not knowing that you have to shut your mouth and listen. You know, I would
Right.
just, because on stage you teach yourself to open your mouth and just bleh, like to let it out. And so it's hard to like realize that a lot of comics, there's a hierarchy, you know, and you just need to let them like. And I mean, Rogan's the nicest guy in the world, but I'm just saying, like, I'd be around in these situations where I didn't know how to handle them, and I would um I think just act too arrogant just because I was funny, thinking that some comics aren't cool like Rogan, and they want respect because, yeah, for whatever reason. And um I'm very bad at playing the game. I don't know how to play the game, you know. I just do comedy, and I
Yeah.
never will be good at playing the game. Some
Yeah, I
people,
hear you.
they just focus on playing the game and don't get good at comedy. But yeah, I'm just, you know, I just I don't know, like I just did the Sunshine Comedy Festival, did really well. But dude, it's like comedy's like up and down, up and down. 1 minute you're opening for
Sure.
Rogan, next minute you're fucking just crying because you're broken up on Valentine's Day and she doesn't give a fuck about you, you know. And you got no shows to do, you know. But I'm planning a tour now. A set went viral on TikTok. I got some new fans, and that was cool. And I'm gonna stay away from women. Actually, I am. They're
Well,
fucking
you can really hone your craft when you're, just, focusing on you, like you
yeah.
definitely can stay a little bit more focused. And, I think eventually you could probably find somebody that's going to be on your team and isn't going to be vindictive and spiteful and
Or
things
just
like
someone
that.
that doesn't break up if you wink the wrong way or if you blink. you know.
Right.
But yeah, I just think that's the thing to do is just stay away from women, get really into porn, maybe take it to like a different level, like bestiality. Fuck it, right? It's out there. Might as well watch it if it's there.
Careful, man. You're going to get my channel flagged.
I mean, yeah. Um, why don't we get real? You know, that's what we got to do. I mean, do healthy things. You know,
Sure.
be
Sure.
for
Sure.
once, just be healthy. Maybe check out
Yeah.
donkey stuff. You know, whatever you got to do to be healthy and get things right.
There you
It's
go. There you go.
better than a woman.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say maybe go box and maybe go, you know,
I'm talking about
it-
health. You know,
oh, okay.
milking
Gotcha.
donkeys. But aren't you glad you invited me?
Oh man, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's like completely unpredictable. So who are some of the, you opened for Rogan, you opened for, uh, who else? Who are some of the other people that you've had the privilege of doing shows with?
Um, I've done shows with Tim Dillon, Whitney Cummings, um, Jamie Kennedy, Che Dorena, um, uh, at the Comedy Mothership. You know, I would get bumped. You know, Ron White be like, "Yeah, the way I'm going up." You know, I would do shows with him, Ron White. Guy Torrey, he's the guy from American History X. You know, he's like the black guy that makes Edward Norton feel better after he was raped. Yeah, he's a comic apparently. It's a funny story too because he told me, I like your jokes, just don't do any rape stuff. And then it got in my head. I was like, so at the end, I introduced him as the guy that made Edward Norton feel better after he got raped. And I didn't even think that. I was like, for some reason I said that and I shouldn't have. But Guy Torrey, David Lucas, I used to feature for him all the time. And William Montgomery. I never did any shows with Tony. He never invited me. But I'm not jealous or I'm not resentful. No, but shit, like I don't know, name some other ones. Quite a few I've worked with and featured for and opened with. What's his name? Voss. Rich Voss.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what comes to mind.
Okay.
First guy was Jay Moore. Yeah. This is one thing I'll tell comics, if any comics are watching. Another comic, a big, like, famous comic, told me this, to not be all obsessed about agents and clubs and all this crazy shit. And musicians can probably understand this too. Like, just get so good that they come to you, right? She told me that. And this was like this is an A-lister, you know. She was like, get so good that they come to you. No one hides a good comic, right? And whenever I felt like everything was going wrong, I would just go back to that. And so I would just do small shows and give it my all. And then, like, someone was in the audience. It's like, hey, you want to open up for Jay Moore? And I'm getting a paid gig. And then you're getting on festivals and shit. Like, you just constantly have to, like, if you're good, people will notice, because in comedy, in anything, it's hard to be good. Find what you're good at and get really fucking good at it, you know? And just because you like it doesn't mean you're fucking good at it.
Right.
Quit comedy if you have to, you know?
Well, I think there's a lot of people too that I know that the problem is that during the pandemic, and I've heard multiple comics talk about this, is that you got a lot of these people coming out of the gate that are like, you know, they think they're really good at what they did because they've been practicing at for weeks, and they deserve some sort of Netflix special or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, comics are some of the worst people I've ever met.
I know a lot of comics, like, kind of deal with, you know, a lot of shit. So, you
They're
know,
the
it's
worst human
probably
beings
not always.
I've ever met. Comics, especially the successful ones. They are.
I don't know about that. I mean, you said Rogan's pretty nice.
Rogan's an anomaly. Like, you meet him and you're like, you know who's actually also really nice? Chris D'Elia.
I've heard that. I've heard Chris
Dude,
D'Elia is.
I didn't want to like him when I saw him, because he was just like, you know, these girls acting all broy and stuff. And then the Comedy Store, I found myself standing next to him, right? So it was kind of awkward because we were watching into the original room. So I lied to him. I was like, hey, man, big fan. And he goes, oh, cool. And he was just so supportive and shit. Like, I wanted to, like, suck his dick. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, this guy's cool as fuck. You know, I was like, God, he's so damn cool. Damn it. He was just like, fuck yeah, a cult, let's do it. You know, because he started a cult apparently. And what are you gonna do?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, like with chicks. Because you get bored. What else are you gonna do? You have money? Fuck, start a cult. People give him shit for it. So
okay,
what?
Right.
Don't join if you don't want to be in a cult. You know? Get out of my. People should be allowed to, like, get the fucking pills they want. They should be able to walk into the pharmacy and say, give me Oxycontin, I'm having a bad day. But they're not able to. The government monitors what goes into your body and out. You know, I got these ideas, dude.
I can tell. Okay.
I'm just out of my mind, dude. I'm sorry.
Somebody up here said Kate Quigley.
Oh yeah. How could I forget? Kate. I haven't talked to her in a while. Yeah, I featured for Kate for a while, for a couple of times, and stuff like that. Um, she's a really amazing comic, and I knew I was missing somebody, and I feel like I'm missing another person too. But yeah, Kate, I think she's taking a break right now. But yeah, that was cool doing shows with her. Yeah. Anyways, thank you, whoever that was. I don't even see who was
Kurt
that.
Ludwig won.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you go, Kurt? Did you go to one of the shows?
We'll
Kurt?
wait for him to respond.
Yeah.
So what do you got coming up in the works?
Dude, I'm planning a tour.
Okay.
So far I got Knoxville, like March 30th. Hitting Dallas. I'm working on booking Fort Worth. Trying to get Chicago and Tacoma. And I have Tampa. No, Tampa, I'm just featuring for somebody, but I want to actually get it my own thing. But I want to do the Bible Belt. It's the Bible Belt tour, you know?
Okay.
And I want to wear like a priest collar or something. No, but like I want to do a Bible Belt tour and just really fucking get down home with it, you know, take it to the people, take it to the heartland. You know what I mean?
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Where, you know, when is this tour going from?
It's going to be like maybe early March to like May. I'm just going to be on tour forever. That's all I'm going to do. I'm single now. I'm brokenhearted. I don't want to fucking be in one space. I can't stand like being in this room. Like, you know, when you, yeah. So I just want to like keep moving and performing and freak out on stage and cry. Like that's what I feel like doing, you know, and writing jokes about evil women, you know, and yeah. What's crazy is like I really think that girl was really a good person, you know. It's just yeah, I do. She is a good person. It's just
Let's see here.
some
Stuck in
some
Montreal, it says.
uh some a lot of women get their friends' voices in their head, you know, and other people, and they get scared of what other people think, I think, and they don't listen to what's in their heart. And when they come back and they finally realize you've got like 3 Japanese whores, you know, taking up the bed, there's no room anymore, you know. The heart is gone. Now it's just a bed. It's a bed full of Japanese whores where my heart is.
Oh God. Yeah, I can relate. So now I asked you at the top of the hour top 5 favorite movies. What do you got for me? Caddyshack 2. What else?
I didn't say Caddyshack too.
I know, I'm just messing with you.
I guess like Forrest Gump, The Crow.
Okay.
The Crow is one of my favorites.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it's one of those questions. I like I really The Drop with Tom Hardy. The Drop.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I like Basketball Diaries, Leonardo DiCaprio's like younger shit.
Okay.
And I like I would say Jade. It's this old movie from like 19. It's what my first porn was. You know, my friend and I found that, and we would keep it in a Disney cover of fuck, what was it called? Iron Will or something like that. It was, you know, be like, hang on for the ride of your life, you know, and or White Fang or something, and we'd take it up to his bedroom. We would watch that together and look at each other weird.
I was thinking of Jade, the William Friedkin movie with it's like Michael Biehn and somebody else.
This one is like, it's like a picture of her on the cover. It's just like facing the wall and her hands up like that.
Yeah, I think that's the one, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
it
not
did
porn.
something to me as a young boy, you know. I make every girl do that, you know. Like when I take them home, like get on the bed and face the wall and put your hand right there. Yeah, and then I just come and then I take them home.
Wow. All right. That's interesting. Um, okay, well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Is there anybody you want to shout out before we cap it off here?
Yeah, I want to shout out to my buddy Michael Johnson. Right now, he's facing his own battle with women. We're all in this together. Have you seen the documentary Army Hammer? Like Army Hammer?
No, I
You
haven't.
should see the hammer, like the Arm& Hammer baking soda. It's their
Yeah,
dynasty. It's
I
all
know
these
who he is. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, I call him John Connor. He taught us how to fight back against women. If you watch the documentary, Anyways, those are jokes. But right now,
You didn't
one of
really
the
get
soldiers.
broken up, did you?
No, obviously I did.
Oh, you did. Okay, okay. I can't tell, man. I really can't tell. You're so like you're so like on the spot, man. I'm like I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah, no. Like I'm probably gonna cry as soon as we turn this off. So
Okay. All right.
this is me trying to
Well,
say I'm not gonna kill myself. You get really happy
I
before you kill yourself, and like you give shit away. Yeah,
uh I
that's not me though. I would never do that. But
okay.
especially no, I would never do that over a woman. You're right. Even if I want
Now,
to, I can't do it because then she wins.
there you go.
Fuck that. I'd rather be in pain than give her that satisfaction because that's all they really want is for you to kill yourself. Remember
Of
that
course.
when you're getting married. Remember that. Remember my
Or a
voice.
big alimony settlement out of that.
Dude, they're just meant. I want to say one thing, please.
Go ahead.
This is something I always tell people. Women are beautiful creatures, but they're bred to be the best liars in the world because biologically they're the best liars because of men. It's men's fault. Throughout history, we made it so hard on them that if they fucked up, they get their head cut off or thrown into a well, as it should be. But they or stoned to death. So they had to learn how to like keep shit under wraps for our own survival. We're here only because women are lying hoes, like that is what. So we can't really be mad at them for being a bitch because we made them that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, call me a feminist, but that's what I think. I'm a feminist because I believe women are all liars. Think about it.
Okay.
I'm
All right, man.
heartbroken.
Well, where are you playing next? When's your next show?
Off the Hook in Naples. I'm doing some guest spots for Jamie Kennedy, and then I'm doing I'll be up at Side Splitters, featuring for Johnny Mitchell, the guy from the Connect podcast.
Cool.
And then
Fantastic.
yeah, just go to my website ryanjoseph.net, and you
Yeah,
can
we'll
see
be
all
sure
put all my
to
dates.
post all the links down in the comments section. Um, and yeah, be sure to check out Ryan on his YouTube channel and on his all his social media outlets. Like I said, we'll post them here in the bottom. Okay, what else do we got here? Okay, yeah, I sell official merchandise. hellsheartco.bigcartel.com. Use the code 20 for 20% off your order. And you can follow me on Hell's Heart CO at Instagram. You can follow me at the TNF Podcast. You can see the little handle there. And then, yeah, like I mentioned, we got all those upcoming shows. Do me a favor, like, comment, share, subscribe, click on the bell for notifications. Ryan Joseph,
Yes, sir.
dude, thanks for coming on so much. It was been a
I had a lot of
blast.
fun.
Hang out in the back room and I'll get your information. I usually send t-shirts to all my guests.
All right, cool. Sounds good.
Okay, thanks, man.
Yep.